Thank you. This is called Father. You never stopped wishing you had become a monk. You stopped making love to my mother when she could no longer get pregnant. You collected and devoured all 10 volumes of Daniel Rope's The History of the Church. I wear your rabid Catholicism like a scar. I wear your fervid, febrile fundamentalism like a hair shirt. I take off my scapular when I make love to my mistress. I write blasphemous poetry. I play the organ every Sunday and slip out for a cigarette during the sermon. The prie-dieu I built in a spasm of piety is now a guitar rack. I haven't been to confession in 10 years. I continue to receive communion every Sunday. I am the only person in the Western world under 60 who thinks this is a mortal sin, who cares whether it is a mortal sin, who even uses the words mortal sin. I stay in the church so I can secretly spit in its face. Your face. Thank you. One more. This is called The Coat. The memory of that coat flies in the face of my most cherished myth, that I grew up with an absentee father. I made him buy it for me in Sacramento. It was a hideous green and white sport coat. I never wore it once. It hung in my closet for years, silently castigating me for my greed. But don't you see? He drove me to college once, all the way from Portland to LA. And the only memory I have of that trip is buying that stupid coat. Thank you very much.
Next we're going to hear from Steve Whitney. Yeah. It's kind of like you have to go right into it, or does it pick up?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, thanks.
Okay.
Second time back. This is good to be back. I really enjoyed this. This is great. First poem I wanted to read. I read an article was on I think it was on Google on News, and they were talking about a tenement that was torn down in a really bad part of the city. And it was amazing to me how the people, not here in Portland, but it was somewhere on the East Coast, and how the people were still attached to this tenement, even though it had deplorable living conditions, high crime rate. And they interviewed some of the people, and they were really, still sorry to see the tenement go. And so this poem is called Revival. The building inspectors closed their binders, put away meter sticks and leveling staves, bow their heads in prayer, and nail signs over the cobweb windows, incurable and unsafe in the name of our Lord. All night the tenants pound the building's wrinkled walls to wake its heart, build fires on the crumbling walkways to warm its fingertips. The neighborhood musicians come. They shake stones and bottle tops and tin cans and drum the broken banisters. The tenants cup their hands at the musicians' feet, catch the sweat spilling from their heaving bellies, and rub it like ointment over the peeling wood. Poets sleeping on fire escapes and balconies wake to write of wings growing from the roof. I don't think I'll get in a shameless plug for this poem. I wasn't going to read it, but I'm going to do it anyway. But it's called Cultivate, and it's actually going to be in the first edition of Willamette Writers' Timberline Review, so I'm really proud of that.
Yeah.
He melts the ink from his love poems over the heat on the bedroom windowsill when she is gone. He folds the paper into a funnel and lets the ink drain through a strainer and into a bottle. The strainer catches all the periods, commas, and semicolons. He turns the strainer over and taps the back of it until the periods, commas, and semicolons float out the window, land on the ground, and plant themselves in the soil. Last one here. I was amazed at how much we're in like a problem kind of solution kind of society. When I go to the bookstore, I see so many how-to books, on the shelves. And so this poem is kind of dedicated to that, and it's called "Death Has Lost Its Imagination." Death has lost its imagination. It has decided to stop trying so hard and just kill everyone the same way. A sudden heart attack in the middle of a bowling alley after finishing a plate of nachos. But do any of us, including death, even need an imagination when we have so many how-to books to do the imagining for us? How to lay our heads on pillows without wrinkling the pillowcase. How to sleep at night with our eyes open and wake with our eyes closed. How to brush our teeth without using toothbrushes and remove 95% of the plaque. How to shave our faces and legs or any other parts of our bodies without using a razor and have the skin on the face's legs or other body part be as smooth as a baby's bottom. How to hide wrinkles, freckles, temple scars, and blemishes without using makeup. How to take a shower and become squeaky clean without using soap. How to tie our ties without a tie knot or button up our blouses without buttons when preparing for a job interview at a carnivorous corporation that will eat the meat from our imaginations. How to eat less without living to eat, or eating to live, as we live while eating and eat while living. How to eat less without living, how to eat more without offending the poor who use their imaginations to survive on a third of what we think we would starve on. How to walk around with your nose turned up and not look like a snob. How to fit in clothes that we have not fit in since high school without losing any weight. How to hold a pencil and write in a notebook instead of keying, mouse clicking, screen touching, or speaking what is on our minds into the computer. How to fall down 10 flights of steps and survive without breaking our necks. How to run across the freeway in the middle of traffic and not get hit by a bus. How to skydive without a parachute and land on our feet. How to never leave a dinner party, even when the conversation is becoming a bare grayness sliding back and forth that is slowly withdrawing into the walls. How to relax like death on a yacht with a reincarnated yodeler who has come back to yodel the eulogy of death's last victim who had a heart attack while aiming their bowling ball at a 7-10 split with melted cheese and Dorito crumbs on the corners of their mouths.
Our next open mic reader is the last one before our feature, and it seems apropos that we would invite her up since these two have been coming to open mics and encouraging each other to come and encouraging each other to write for quite some time now. So, Rainy Night, why don't you come on up?
Yes, herbal essence is one of my best friends. I host or co-host a poetry reading at Barnes & Noble the last Tuesday of every month at 7. It's on 4th Plane. Would love it if you'd come. We always get such a wonderful crowd there, and all the characters show up at my reading. You don't know that. Anyway, it's Steve Diefenbacher that is going to be the feature, and I'll share something really crazy. I've been cleaning my writing space, and I have boxes and boxes of old stuff, and I found this thing. It says Loose Gravel Music Publishing, BMI, Nashville, Tennessee. And in my history, at one point, I went to Nashville to try and sell some of my songwriting, and I came home with my tail between my legs, and this so speaks the same thing. It's called Homage to the Beast. I applaud your courage, I admire your strength, I worship your honesty, I follow your faith. I salute your attempt. I respect your retreat. Stand tall when you remember you paid homage to the beast. And that was written by my friend Lucas, who is back in Nashville for probably more than 20 years now, trying to get his music sold, and he's really good. So it's not that easy. And my second little piece here is Sacagawea's song, the poem, not the novel, not the screenplay. I sing across the shining mountains. I was once free as the grass blowing in the wind. I was Shoshone. They named me Boy Naive, grass girl. As a child, I was captured by a Hidatsa warrior and spirited many moons toward the rising sun. At my new village, they taught me to plant and reap and obey. Later, I was won in a gambling game by Charbonneau, a French-Canadian trader. And when I was with child, 2 great white chiefs, long knife and red hair, came and told of an adventure they were on. I longed to go. My child Pomp, new to this world, was the youngest in the Corps of Discovery in search of the waters of the setting sun. We would make white man's history, and I would live on as the Kakawea, named by my Hidatsa captors. In your 21st century, you honor me with a golden coin and rename me Sacagawea. Your historians swear that I died young, even though our oral tradition tells that I lived to be old. Does that make sense to you, Sacagawea, snake girl who endured your people's greatest journey, give up the ghost too soon? Think again. I loved adventure. I traveled among the tribes, fell in love, brought forth more papooses, and lost my Comanche brave in battle. Heartbroken, I returned to my own people, who by then were at Wind River. Sharing my story for many years, my people, the Shoshone, renamed me Porivo, which means chief. They wrapped my body in skins and planted it in the earth at Wind River. My spirit blows free. The white people can call me what they will. They made a golden medal to honor me. My spirit blows free.
No, not Well, we are going to introduce our featured reader tonight. We decided just now that we're going to do this together.
Captain Tennille.
It takes two.
Captain and Tennille. Not
It
bad.
takes two to invite such a huge talent.
Absolutely,
To the
it
mind.
does.
You
Yes.
say about Herb, I mean, he's entertaining. He makes us think. He shows us how to do this the correct way, modeling it not by saying a bunch of stuff and not being able to stop talking like me. He breaks our hearts, and we wait to hear what he's going to do next. And one of the things that goes along with this gig, the hosting part of this gig, is asking people for bios, which can be embarrassing or awkward sometimes. And what this bio makes me think about is how you can really know a person and really consider a person a friend and a part of your community, and not know really important shit about them, because pretty much almost everything in this bio was totally news to me. So do you want to read that?
Upon retirement from Swiss Air, New York, Herb Stokes and his artist wife, Mary Ann, moved to the Intercoastal Waterway in North Carolina. They did the boat and beach scene for several years, but after a wonderful summer trip to Portland, decided the Northwest would be their home. He took an ongoing creative writing course at Clark College and hasn't stopped writing since. The rest is history. Herb Stokes. Come on. That was hard. All right. How was that?
That's good.
All right.
Thank you, Chris and Toni, for inviting me to read tonight. And welcome to all of you who read and write poetry. I apologize to those who may hear my stuff for the second time. I also apologize for those hearing me for the first time. No animals were harmed during the writing of these poems. I say this because I need as much readership as I can get. You don't have to applaud until the end unless you just can't contain yourself. And my throat is giving me a problem, so I suddenly may become a soprano. Just ignore it. Summer sky. On summer nights atop the hill, we watched the stars and sighed. I sat beneath the willow's branch, while Maggie sat beside. We did not speak and barely moved, remembering how Kate died. Then one of us would speak her name, and the other cried. A million specks of starry light, off on a cosmic ride, streak farther and farther away from Earth, nestling our babe inside. Mazatlan, Mexico. The daughters of the Maya are taught to beg with only 4 or 5. A soiled palm upraised, holding pieces of gum for any price you please. Smiling instead of pleading with olive black eyes, the light not yet put out. Still a game played with strangers. Run back with the coins to show Mama squatting under a shawl on the corner with palm upraised. The lover's bench. The lavender are gone, the camellia are overgrown. Lovers don't sit here anymore. Small pale blossoms now tremble where hearts once throbbed and hands worship hands. Tendrils inch upward imperceptibly, drawn to the girth of the weathered oak. The encirclement begins again. But you have found someone to whisper new secrets to. And I have become the hinge on the door you keep closing. What's in a name? I sometimes wear a wide-brimmed hat, a shiny revolver strapped to my hip, an old leather jacket that's seen combat, a 20-foot-long studded boulder. I search for treasure all over the place. My college students know little of this. I'm just the man with a craggy face, the kind the girls don't want to kiss. I haven't found treasure or someone to love, but that's what happens when you're not a myth. When luck turns around and gives you a shove, and you are Indiana Smith. The promise kept. When I said I would do this for you, it seemed a long way off, but it has come. There is more to you than just quiet ashes. I did not realize I would feel your burnt bones scraping against the sides of the urn, as if seeking a way to become part of the world again. We moved through a familiar seascape, a breakwater of granite boulders, moored sailboats, masts moving like metronomes, keeping a beat to the ocean's rhythm. Past the channel's flashing buoy, beyond the flooding race to the open water passage. I release you to the sea. Halloween harassment. I answer the loud knock at the door. It's another small boy in a ghost costume. "Can I help you, sir?" I ask facetiously. He forgets the part about saying trick or treat, but says, "Here," holding up the cup of coins in front of him. Then blinks, because he has run out of things to say. Still teasing, I ask if he can change a 20. A ghost-like mother's voice from a nearby car says, "Yes." Now it's my turn to blink. Then I reach into my wallet. A ghost-like hand takes my 20 and slips a $5 bill back into my trembling hand. I have met one too many ghosts tonight. Love on the run. There's coming and there's leaving, and in between is bliss, discovery and grieving, or bookings for a kiss. Chance found us one morning, we didn't part till night. An ever so faithful dawning, we thought we had it right. But fate's the great arranger that none are master of. And everyone's a stranger before and after love. Excerpts from my journal. The first thing a man does when he gets a pet is to train it not to soil its own environment. Now, if only man could learn that lesson. I am having a problem finding a location on a woman's body. An article in the paper said a woman was shot and the bullet was lodged in her yet. So far, I can't find information about where a woman's yet is located. I'm afraid to ask too many questions for fear of being called a pervert. Again. Fried grains shouldn't be eaten by anyone, even if cooked properly and served with a green leafy vegetable. Everyone's a sex addict, if they can find the right partner. You know that's true. I'm beginning to believe that craziness is keeping me sane. Birds do it. A solitary bird insisting he be heard screeches like all birds will do and keep it up for an hour or two. When that fails to draw his mate, he ascends atop the gate and noisily complains to me, then roosts himself back in the tree. But coos to her a soothing song like saying, "There is nothing wrong." She finally turns her feathered head after he has the chicks all fed, then flies up to the crowded nest to thank him for the midday rest. Slipping away, I hear you in a song, I name you in the crowd. I know you when the night is long and silence is too loud. You're gone when you appear, occur when you're away. I missed you when you were still here, awaiting yesterday. Ashes of age on the mantle, flashing your face in my mind. Remembrance now, a lighted candle, crash into grace out of time. I am haunted by your leaving, lost while you are hid, wounded by the misconceived, torn by what we did. Passion for places in shambles, nearing the end of the climb. It was all too much a gamble. Crash into grace out of time. Being broken. I'm sorry, being broken. My government is broken. The men sent to fix it have returned wearing wide smiles and tan cheeks. They have new cars and money in the bank that was donated by industries that wanted and received tax favors from them at our inflated expense. They say it is fixed now. My church is broken. The men sent to fix it travel in chauffeured limousines, wear tall pointed hats, red silken robes, carry large crucifixes atop golden staffs, and offer constant prayers for the poor. But they don't seem to know the church is broken. My bank is broken. The men sent to fix it have given the men responsible for the breakdown millions of dollars in bonuses and have asked them not to let it happen again. But penalties have not been assessed, nor has any official been held liable or responsible. They say it is fixed now. My country is broken. Parasites from within have sucked out the vital juices, so now the roots have withered and are dying. We are on the edge of a boneyard and seem almost eager to rush down its slope and throw ourselves onto the heap. The men sent to fix it are nowhere in sight. Miracles, miracles. The church was having one of its sidewalk bazaars. I saw some medals lined up in a row and asked what kind they were. They're miraculous medals. Oh, how much are they? I could use a miracle. They're free. Great. When can I expect the miracle? The medal should be blessed first. Where do they do that? Upstairs in the vestibule. Is there a charge? No, but you can give a donation. It's usually $5. What if I don't have it blessed? Would I still get my wish? No, there's a $5 minimum of miracles. Glen Cove Beach. Before time was captured and rendered into bits too small to contemplate, then released 1 millionth at a time inside a computer keeping count, I just ended time while lying under shade trees on a hill that overlooked Long Island Sound, eyes closed but awake to the sense of summer. Gentle waves petting the shore, leaves sighing in annoyance at a frolicking breeze. The odor of the bowels of the beach at low tide. Children laughing, screaming, crying, laughing. Beach birds bitching. The control sputter of a small yellow airplane printing white words on a blue skyboard. Dads with umbrellas and ice chests, following moms with kids' blankets and brown bags. Summer in immortal us. I will meet you by the stairway under the big clock on the crossroad across the river, next to the bench behind the sand dunes, outside the stadium, along the path, past the train station, near the high school, inside the chapel, at the altar, with your ring. And this is the last piece. I don't know why screwy things keep happening to me. Yesterday in Fred Meyer's at the Salmon Creek store, I sat down at the automated blood pressure machine that is open to the public. It measures three things: the heart when it's resting, the heart when it's at work, and the heartbeat. When the three lights went on that give the results, it showed 2 cherries and a fucking banana.
What a pleasure. What a pleasure.
It wasn't my pleasure.
Yes. We are going to take a
15 or so.
15 or so for you to look at the artwork, mingle, order something maybe from the next room, get to know each other a little bit better. We'll reconvene in about 15 minutes,
And if for some reason you're not able to be with us in the second half, come back on June 11th when our featured reader will be poet and songwriter Dusty Santamaria. And also please return on May 16th for Chris Egan's Artist Talk, and I think she'll probably be here for a few minutes. We want to ask her about this beautiful work that she's done here. So
Great.
Thank you all for being
Stretch your
with us.
legs, take a little break.